What's a ghost? Or what's a spirit? And why are we always scared of them? Why don't we seem to welcome them? But we're always scared of them and want to veer away from them. And when we do want to see them, we always seem to be taunting them. Well, stay tuned and we'll have a look. And welcome back to the Brac Shop. And I'm Tom from the shop. And this is the portal to the paranormal and the spiritual. Because where there's dark, there's light. Now, what is a ghost? Or what is a spirit? Well, from my investigations, mostly it's a deceased person. Someone who has been around and has now passed over. And this is their spirit or their ghost or their soul coming back for whatever reason. Maybe they're trapped here. Maybe they're coming to visit. And actually, there's quite a lot of different reasons why they may not have completely passed over. In fact, probably at a funeral, well, when someone has passed over, died, a lot of people have mentioned they actually feel the presence of that person still around until at least the funeral, when you could say they've been sent on. So, what is it that makes them come back? Unfinished business? They miss their friends and relatives? What is it? But we can't deny it that there is something that lingers around. And I know there are atheists out there and non-believers. And I think atheists are more non-establishments, really, because basically they're anti-religion. So they throw out anything. Because there can be an afterlife. The atheists, fortunately, don't believe in a God. Now, the atheists don't believe in a God. But you can still have afterlife and a progression through the existence to somewhere else. And in their sense, I can't see why it still can't happen without a God. It's just that religion says that, and they've thrown religion out and everything else out. Because way before Christianity, people have always spoken of an afterlife. But that's going a bit off track there. But most cultures believe in an afterlife, and it could be a scientific fact that there is more to us beyond science. That the body, there is more to the body. There is a soul, which could be the consciousness, which stays in the mind, in the brain. And when the body dies, the consciousness goes on. And there could be different words for the consciousness. It could be the soul, the spirit, and it can become a ghost, which makes it really interesting when people talk about someone selling their soul, or the headhunters that will kill their victims and cut off their heads and shrink their heads and actually seal their mouth up. So because they say their victim's soul is now captured and stuck in that shrunken head. Now, is all of that possible? Can a soul be captured, or a spirit be captured, or the consciousness be captured? Very interesting thought. Now, don't forget, if you like this episode, click the like button and subscribe and press the notification bell so you don't miss out. It'll help the channel, make us grow, and tell your friends, and even share the video if you like. Have a chat with your friends about this topic. Now, it's all very interesting to think, what is the spirit and the ghosts, and why are they still around? Why haven't they moved on? Now, I have a theory that there's actually two types of spirits. And one, which science sort of like says, is that the spirit has gone through, or a person has gone through a very emotional situation, like something violent in a house. And it's been so violent that the room has absorbed the energy. Or you could turn it around, that it's been a very loving household, and there's always love and happiness, that the walls of the house have absorbed that energy as well. And what happens when people say they see something is that the house or the surrounding walls are replaying the scenario that went on. Let's say a violent action or an extreme situation of someone getting murdered, and that is imprinted into the walls of the house and replays when the conditions are right. And people, if they can pick up on it, they can see exactly what has happened. And that's one theory. Another theory goes a little bit beyond that. And people will pick up on spirits in a place, in a house, and yet they're actually able to communicate with the spirit. It doesn't just play out the situation. They're actually able to talk to the spirit. And I think that is a different situation yet again, because we've heard people with the first theory that they saw this apparition and it actually walked straight through them, didn't answer them, didn't sort of like notice them, and just kept doing what it was doing. And then there's other situations like theory 2, where they can actually speak and communicate with the spirit or the apparitions. So there are two different theories. Now, if you have any ideas on that, please let me know right below, and let me know what you think. Because sometimes you can have houses and dwellings where they'll say a spirit will actually live there, and you have to create your peace with the spirit. Though I was told this story, and actually by an atheist, although it did make him question it. Now, when he was a child, his whole family went to a holiday house. And this was one of those rented holiday places. And the whole family went there, including the grandmother. And they moved in, and they took the dog with them as well. Now, for some reason, the dog kept barking up the stairs. It wouldn't go up the stairs, and it just kept barking and barking. And they couldn't explain it. And then he said his grandmother came around and looked up the top of the stairs and said, "We're only here for the weekend. We mean no harm to you. You can continue with what you're doing, and we'll continue with what we're doing. And everything will be fine." Something along those sort of words. And then after that, the dog was fine. The dog stopped barking. They had a very nice time there. So it's like, if there is a house or a dwelling where there is a presence, sometimes you do have to make peace with what's there. I did it with a place that I moved into once. The first night I turned the light off. For some reason, I was completely scared. I don't know why. And it was pitch black. And this was so silly, but I even turned the light on again. And then I said exactly what I said just then, actually. I've just moved in here. I mean you no harm. We'll get along fine. You do what you have to do, and I'll do what I'll do, and everything will be fine. And with that, I turned the light off. And for the life of me, there was actually a window right opposite my bed. And the light was coming in through the window. The night light was coming in through the window. And I had not noticed it before. And I felt a lot more peaceful and calm. after saying that. It might be a psychological trick. Maybe I made friends with the spirit, that I meant no harm and we were just sharing the room together. So sometimes I think you do have to make peace with the presence in the place, because they don't know why you're there sometimes, and you don't know what they're there for sometimes. So what people usually do is get scared and, well, you're frightening the spirit or getting them angry, and so they retaliate with maybe throwing things around the room and those sort of things. And how often do people actually try to communicate with the spirit and say exactly what I've said, that we mean no harm and we're just here and we'll get along fine? A lot of people sort of build a barrier and almost create hostilities, and then they have to call in a priest and all those sort of things. And it doesn't always have to be a ghost or a spirit. It can be, there are so many other beings from the spirit realm as well, and I'll go into that in another video. But there are so many different things out there, and I think the best thing is to create your peace and to have good intentions and be on a loving vibration. Because I'm sure there's stories of people living in places and haven't been aware of any paranormal activities until someone else walks in and says, oh, there's something going on here, and they were oblivious to it. And that's my message for this video. If you should encounter anything paranormal like this, instead of being scared, maybe talk to it like a friend or a stranger, actually, that you just met. And what are you doing here? I'm just passing by, or I live here now and we'll get along just well. That's my little advice. What do you think? Write your comments below and let me know. Let's see if you agree. And don't forget, press the like button if you've found this episode interesting. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet. And click the bell. Press the bell for the notifications. And that way you will get my next episode. So, I hope you have pleasant paranormal encounters. And until next time, stay well and happy.